SOVA-talks series is an online talk series planned by MIT WPU School of Visual Arts. According to the tradition of MIT WPU, we will start this SOVA-talks introductory session with World Peace Prayer.
नमो जीयाद्या वेद प्रतिपाद्या जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा देवा तूचि गणेषु सकलार्थमतिप्रकाशु म्हणे निवृत्तिदासु अवधारि गोदी गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
Dear students, teachers, and parents, let me take you to a mini virtual tour of MIT World Peace University. MIT World Peace University is known to be among the top education institutes in India since the establishment of MIT Group of Institutes in 1983. MIT WPU has witnessed a rapid growth at any given point in time. More than 50,000 students are pursuing various courses across 65 plus institutes of MIT World Peace University. School of Visual Arts is located in the heart of the Pune city in the Kothurud campus. This campus is accessible very conveniently from the bus, autos, or private vehicles. The metro line is 5 minutes walking distance from our campus. At School of Visual Arts, students are blessed with very learned faculty and have a curriculum which makes students industry ready, with the privilege to be studying in such a mature environment. Now I would like to introduce our head of School of Visual Arts, excuse me, Dr. Shruti Nigodkar, a multifaceted personality and a learned academician. She has a diverse experience in industry and has mentored a lot of innovation projects. We are fortunate to have her as our head. I will request Dr. Shruti to address our guests. Over to you, dear Shruti ma'am.
Thank you so much, Meghna, for this introduction and introducing everybody to MIT World Peace University, also the School of Visual Arts. I will like to again welcome all the attendees who are here on Zoom, as well as those who are watching us through the Facebook. MIT World Peace University School of Visual Arts is running two very coveted programs. One is the BFA Applied Arts, and the second is MFA Applied Arts with emphasis on the research. And as part of that, we are doing these series of talks which address different aspects of these professional courses. For example, we had session on design thinking, we had session on advertising, and now this is the third faculty session which is coming up, where our very dynamic Tanvi Bhadre, who is assistant professor in MIT World Peace University School of Visual Arts, is going to talk about a very interesting subject called photography, the art of storytelling. We know the use and purpose of storytelling in design. We know the use of it in advertising. We know the use of it in any visual communication. But when it comes to creating images, there are two distinct ways in which you can do that. One is photography and the other is illustration, right? So photography, when it started, it was all physical efforts, positives, negatives, enlargers, this and that. And now it has gone completely digital. And yet, everybody carrying a lovely camera cannot get lovely photographs. And that is where the art of photography comes in. And using that art for storytelling, Tanvi is going to take us through her session and talk to us about this amazing profession called photography. So I will request Meghana to take this session forward and thank all the listeners for attending this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that present address. Now I would like to invite our beloved faculty, Assistant Professor Pallavi Rajwade, to introduce the resource person for today.
Thank you so much, dear Meghna. It's my privilege to introduce my very cheerful colleague and resource person for today's SOVA-talks session 4, that is Miss Tanvi Bhadre ma'am. Artist by nature and photographer by passion, she has a master's degree in applied arts and a postgraduate diploma in photography. Tanvi has worked in the field of education since 2013 and has industry experience of 15 years plus, including in India and in Singapore. Tanvi is an art history enthusiast and believes in the deep impact of history on art and aesthetics. A mentor, artist, and a storyteller, she has also worked with Times of India as a freelance photojournalist. She captures strong stories, moods, memories, and mesmerizing images through her lens that all her students can see every day, and we in the faculty room experience that every day, and all the creatives which she gives in through her work, it's just amazing. And we are blessed to have her as our resource person for today. And without any further ado, I am going to request dear Tanvi ma'am to begin her presentation.
Thank you so much, Pallavi ma'am, for such a lovely introduction. And thank you, Meghna. And thank you, Dr. Shruti ma'am, for today's talk. Before we move ahead, Pallavi ma'am has introduced me and told everyone what I do and what are my qualifications. Uh, I just want to add one thing, like being a photographer, normally everyone is passionate about having some or the other superpower. Like, when we see superhero movies, we talk about, I need this superpower, I need to be invisible, I need to do this and I need to do that, or fly off, anything. I think as a photographer, we have one superpower to freeze a moment. I think like the next time whenever anybody asks me, it's always that one answer which I give, that as a photographer, I have a superpower to freeze any moment and make the best out of it. So with no further things, I'm going to share my screen. I hope everybody can see. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So today I'm going to talk about photography, art of storytelling. As we all know, humans have been storytellers since long time, and that is one thing we cherish for ourselves. We cannot stop. If I tell somebody something, trust me, the next moment they want to go and share it with somebody else. So every day you might have seen that you see something happening on the road, or something happens in the class, something happens around you, something happens with your friends. You want to talk about it, you want to go and tell that story to somebody else. And I think that is one important part as a photographer, as an artist, that we have, that we are very good storytellers, or we have to be good storytellers, that we go and narrate that thing. Now, some people will just tell the what happened, like, this happened, that happened, and the entire scene is being told. But then there are some people who will add extra masala to it, they will add extra diction to it, they will add extra characters to it, and they will narrate in a way that you can visualize it. Even if you are not present at that moment, you can visualize what is happening. And that exact thing is what a photographer does. He takes a very simple moment and he makes it as beautiful as when you see that picture, you feel that you're standing right there and seeing it in front of you. So when we talk about photography, what basically is photography? The very basic, you can say, definitions or very basic meanings of photography. So photography, this word derives from photo means light and graph means to write with or to draw with. So basically photography means that you write or draw with light. We use camera and the light is the basic and the main vital component of photography. Photography means to tell the entire story in one image. You can talk about, say, we have videos, we have cinema, where you go see for 2 hours, 3 hours, and you see the entire cinema. And on the other hand, you have photographs, which is like one photograph is enough to narrate the entire story. So basically, photograph is like a poetry, and cinema is like a novel. So it's elaborated, but photography is short and sweet, one picture, and you get the entire thing of what is happening. Now, the camera captures an image, but photographer captures a memory. As I just said, we have superpower of freezing any moment. So it is funny when people come and tell me you must be having really good camera. You have a high-end camera and your lens is too good. But it's not always about the gear that you have. It's about what you see. The eye behind that lens, the eye behind that viewfinder is what captures a memory. You can have any best of the best cameras, but if you don't know how to tell what you see, I think then the gears will also not help you. Now, these are few genres of photography. So we can say types of photography. So first is fashion, then we have product, then we have events or wedding photography. This wedding photography is one thing everybody is like very aware of. Wedding, pre-wedding, post-wedding, all of those things that go around it. Fine art photography, photojournalism, and there are many more parts of it. There is wildlife, there is travel, so many of it. Now, can somebody tell me, like from the audience, anybody, you can just raise your hand or write in the chat box, like, are you aware of what this is? Anyone, just quickly, just throw out anything.
Is it a cave painting?
Yes. Who was that? Sorry, I can't see all the participants. Okay, so yes, this is a cave painting. So when you see this cave painting, you try to, like, if you pay a little bit attention, you can figure out that there is this person with a bow and arrow, and maybe these are the animals and they're trying to hunt, and there is like different people standing or dancing. You can figure it out. Now this one painting, there are a lot of cave paintings that have been found, but this one painting tells or narrates a story in a way where you can see some things, see uh, etchings on the wall, and you can figure out that something of this sort is happening, that they are going hunting or they're dancing, anything. So during cave painting, this is like prehistoric times we are talking. So since then, a man, a human is narrating stories of what he is seeing around him and what is happening. Now, this was the time we know the language was not there, but even the language is not the barrier of having any uh, visual to explain anything that is happening. And this is where we go when we talk about history of anything. Everything goes back to the cave painting, very simple, where the story is narrated without any words, just by visuals. So, what is storytelling in photography? Like, what do we have to do to narrate a story in photography? What all things are needed to come up with, storytelling when you do photography? Now, this is my personal favorite quote, which has changed the way I see photography. And it is by Robert Capa, who was a war photographer. So, Robert Capa says, if your pictures aren't good enough, you are not close enough. Now, when this sentence comes, we think that you are not close to the frame that you are capturing. You are not close to the person that you are taking pictures. But sometimes this one sentence also might mean, or we can have different derivations of our own. That if your pictures are not good enough, that means you are not close enough to your subject, to whatever you are clicking, maybe mentally or physically. If, for example, tomorrow I have to take a picture of my best friend, okay, I will click her the way she is, the way I know her, because I'm very comfortable with her. So I will take her picture. When she shows it to everybody else, they'll be like, this person is this way. Like, this is exactly how she is. But on the same hand, if I take some stranger and tell him to take a picture of my best friend, maybe it will be very awkward. Maybe it will be like very posed. It will not be her natural element. So what does that mean? That we have to be close to our subject, no matter what you're taking. You're doing fashion, you're doing product, you're doing advertising, you're doing table talk. You should understand what you're clicking in and out properly so that you can capture the best of it. These are the some of the series that I have made. So all the pictures that I'm using in this presentation are clicked by me. So if you see here, we normally say portraits is about face, right? Portraits is about understanding. When you see the entire scenario, like wide angle, where you see top to end, this and that, you understand what is going on. But sometimes just walking close to the minute details can also give you explanation of what is happening. So, can somebody explain me or just tell me in one word what is happening in the second picture? Anybody? Let's keep this a little interactive so that everybody uh, would be a part of it. Can somebody, anybody, like just let me know what is happening in the second photo? First one is very obvious that dhar laga rahe churi ko. What is happening in the second one?
I think he's making threads. रेशमा से धागे वगैरह आते हैं तो क्या था
I
इस
think it is a manja.
Yes, it's a
Manja
manja.
sutavne.
It
Manja
is.
Okay.
sutavne.
Yes, so it is a manja. So I don't have to show the entire process of making a manja. Like I don't have to show that crust, glass, colors, the entire thread, the entire human. I can just go close enough to the hands because that is what is important. If you go to the third frame also, going close is about narration. Like I can just say devotion, one word for this one frame, and it explains because you have everything that is needed. You don't need the entire wherever he's standing, a river, a pond, whatever in his backyard which has a water body or anything. I can say that he's wearing the cloth which is very traditional that we use for puja and all, and he's offering the water the way we like normally is done. So this one simple picture kind of narrates that it's about devotion, it's about offering something to gods. So you, as I said, like if your pictures are not good enough, I don't say these are like the best of my work. I'm still yet to reach to the best or the perfection of my work. But when this one thing hit my mind, like if my pictures are not good enough, that means I'm not close enough, mentally, emotionally, physically, however. And then when you start seeing our hands is something we use every day, but we don't generally appreciate of all the things that we can do. And when you see people around you with different professions, with different activities, you can just take close-ups and you can just show different stories that can be narrated. So here it's like working hands. Here is again working, making manja, something which is nowadays we don't see often. Something devotion, you can say. Now here there's a lot of things happening in one picture. Like he has uh, this is one part, like you have to see what is going on. You have to keep your eyes and brain and your mind open, not brain, mind is the right word. So to understand, so when the basic part about storytelling is to see first that whatever is happening around you, see, then you have to observe like very minutely. So here if you see he doesn't have a hand, but then here you have that Popeye cartoon logo. So it's a very contradictory, very juxtaposition, something of two things that won't go together in a frame. Here, if you see that not promoting smoking, but then the frame, if you see here, it's like McDonald's ka logo, but these two elements are adding to each other. So whenever you are going close enough to any topic, to any subject, you can see what all elements are there and how you can enhance your story. Like this one picture and it's enough. This one picture and it tells the entire story. You can make your own meanings, you can come up with different layouts, you can different themes out of it. Now, when you see this very traditional looking clothes, we know that this kind of traditional thing, they are very how to put it, very conservative. Like, they'll not hold hands. And I saw this couple literally like they were, I don't know, maybe roughly around 80, 85 plus year old, both of them. And I saw them on the street of Rajasthan and they were just walking, holding each other's hand. And I was like, this one thing I don't see, you don't see ever. Like, conservative old people from village of Rajasthan holding hands on a street, this never happens. And I literally like ran through the crowd behind them just to capture, like, I want just to, maybe I don't want to see who they are, but this like old hands holding together, and you can understand from their clothes that it's from a village, it's from Rajasthan. So these are the factors, like you have to be close enough to your subject to know how and what to capture, of what you want to tell about that picture. Now, these are the few shots I've taken in Kumbh Mela. Again, going close, like seeing the elements. First, I was just like, this was my frame, like that sadhu standing in a trishul and the photo. But then the way this woman was sitting here, unbothered, the way their colors are also like, yellow and orange, it matches together. So I was like, they both are waiting for something. So being in that surrounding and being close to that surrounding, understanding what all things are going on around you. This one picture is my personal favorite. Like, I love this. Uh, he's got a simple phone and is trying to take a selfie with the god. So, selfie is a new thing for everyone, but this scenario is not what often we see. And this dog is trying to get into the water, like for the bath, and like, I don't know what he was thinking about it, but he was like literally playing there. So, this frame kind of took my attention. Like when you say holy bath in Ganga during the Kumbh Mela, even the animals are there around. So do they also count it like holy, or what is going on in their head? So that is why this image took me by while I was taking some other pictures. I just saw this and I had to click it. This was the one photo where there are Aghori sadhus who walk around Kumbh Mela, but it's believed that they are out of all the inhibitions. They don't follow any rules of our normal self. Like they are not attached to anything. But when I saw this man, he had this huge bag, of his belongings, and he was just walking by. And when I took this picture, because this is very contradictory to the uh, Naga sadhus or Aghori sadhus, carrying something with them. They are just free of everything. So sometimes these are the things where you need to know your history, your geography, and understand that what is going on and how can you portray it. So this picture was published in Times of India, both Nashik and Pune, um, because again, as I just said, that the bag and the Aghori sadhu or the Naga sadhu, these two things can never go hand in hand. So it was very sarcastic to have this picture put together. Now again, uh, wait for the right moment. Uh, you know, Now this, I saw this boy every day. He was like performing something and he was begging for money, dressed up as Shiva. Uh, and it was literally every day. So I was wondering, like one day he might just sit to have food or something. Then normally people giving him money or him dancing is like basic. So I waited. I spoke to him. I talked to him, and one day I saw that he's drinking tea, and I went to capture this picture. And I got, like, this was not planned. This was my sheer luck. You can say that I got this expressions. But he was just sitting there having his chai, and the moment he saw me, he's like, "I need to photo with khicho." But then I had got my frame, and he also loved the picture. He also has a print of this picture. But when we say that you have to be close enough, you have to interact with your subject. No matter you're on street, no matter you're in the studio, no matter you are shooting outdoors, you have to interact. Of course, if you have products, we cannot talk to them, but then we have to understand the values of where and what is going on. Now, this anybody can, somebody, if you want to name this picture, like, one word, one sentence, what can that be? The second picture. Anybody, quickly, whatever comes to your mind. Just one word, one sentence, anything. And if you notice, the timing of each clock is different. I think only 1, 2, and 3 clocks are similar, but other all the clocks are very different timings. So sometimes you go on the street, sometimes you take pictures, and you see such settings, and it just has to, you have to just take steal that moment, capture it, and you get amazing images for yourself, and it narrates the story in itself. Like, I don't have to go and explain this picture to anybody. If I just show it, it tells the story of that person's life and gives out the environment of where he is working or what is happening.
Can I suggest a name for it?
Yes, sure.
Actually, I don't have a particular like a word for it, but for sure it means like apna time aayega for sure.
Maybe, yes, definitely. We can add that part. Yes,
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, because his expressions are also like, my time will come, or you're waiting
Yeah,
for something,
exactly.
longing for something, believing it is hope. Ki hoga.
Yeah,
Not
he's
today,
hoping
maybe.
for something. Yeah.
He's hoping for something. So these were other few pictures. So it can be about people, it can be about streets, it can be about close-ups, it can be about the monuments that you see. Like, here there's no people, there's just the Buddha statue and the tree. But that entire thing, like, if you just call this nirvana, and you have that tree thing behind it, it just says everything. It was a small statue just kept there, but these thoughts that you have, like stories that you have read, uh, amazing things that if you just see something that you can relate to what you think, I think just fills up your frame. Like this one, you can see that, Italian style coffee, like real Italian and everything. But if you see this one small, what do you say, board up here, it's like Paryato ka swagat hai. So it's like I used to cross this cafe every day, literally every day, and I used to see these people sitting there. And on the last day of my trip, I saw this board. Tab tak I was just observing people, like what they do, how they talk to each other. And I have so many frames from this one cafe. It was a very small cafe, sharing me. You had to sit and have coffee. But then last day, I saw this and I was like, no, this is what makes my image complete. Or this one, it's a simple temple, but that one crow adds the drama. So getting close is about, I got close to this temple. Of course, I have it in white frame, but then understanding the element, the texture, I wanted something, normally we say, kuch to aur chahiye, like something extra you need. And I think this crow just added that extra to the frame. So, as I believe, like the first part of storytelling, or saying anything through your visual, is you have to understand what you're trying to tell. You have to go close yourself, maybe in form of research, maybe in form of understanding, maybe physically, like you go and close to that topic and you take pictures or make visuals about it, something or the other. So storytelling is all about understanding and going close in every possible way. The next part about storytelling is documentary. Like जैसे मैंने बोला that some people like to narrate, some people like to tell, but they'll just tell you facts. Like, okay, I woke up in the morning, then I brushed my teeth, I had my coffee, and I reached my office and I started working, and it was a good day. So this is like stating facts, like 1, 2, 3, 4. This happened, that happened, that happened. But when you're doing a document, like this is like documenting, they're just telling you fact, whatever happened. But still, when you are building a visual documentary, photo documentary, what we say in photography term, is basically you have to see what is happening. Observation is the key. First, you have to see. We see everything. If you go out on the street right now, you will see everything. But if I tell you to come back and tell me five things that you saw, it will be hard, you know. But on the same part, if I just tell you, like, go stand for 5 minutes and observe, like, what everything that you see it nicely. Then you can come with, okay, there was a tree, then there was a bird on the tree, then there was a cow that was sitting in the middle of the road, and there were multiple colored bikes. You will tell me, you'll give me details. So same thing happens with visuals. We see everything. If you want to be a good artist, you can see everything, but observation is the key. Observation is what you need the most. Now, this was a photo documentary. I just literally was roaming around with my camera in my hometown, and I just came across this small festival that was going in nearby village. I could hear the music, so I just went and I saw. So he was the sarpanch of the town. So I asked him, I took his permission, like, can I take his picture? And he was like, okay, but he's like, I will have to come to my home and take the picture. And he just went and he sat there. You can see that he knows that he's the sarpanch of the town. Then when you say that, okay, he is the sarpanch, this is the celebration that is going on. Sometimes you find interesting faces in the crowd. Don't forget to capture that, because there is always one interesting fact or funny fact or what do you say, uh, fun fact जिसको हम बोलते हैं वैसे. So you always have that one fact, one cute fact in every story. So try to find it even through your videos and add it to your documentary, add it to your the pictures that you're clicking. And this was in the end where the entire festival was done. The lunch was done, like sab gaon wale milke aake they were like they had lunch together. So this was after that, and they were very happy, like somebody's taking pictures. So when you say story, now when you say documentary, as I said, like I woke up in the morning, I went to this and I went. So these are just facts, there's nothing very creative about it. But you also need to understand that even in that, you cannot miss a detail, because you're telling something about that place. So you cannot miss any detail. Like you have to start it somewhere and end it somewhere. So for me, it starts with first picture and ends with the fourth one. So this is how the photo documentary goes. The photo story, on the another part, is you have to narrate what you see with the visuals. Like if I go to a village and I see a fair, or I go on the street and I see something happening, I can come back and narrate it in like 2 hours, 3 hours, with every single detail. He said this, she said that, and this happened, that happened. I can add all the sound effects to it. But photo story is about narrating what you see with the visuals. When you talk about art of storytelling, it means that you have to narrate everything that you see, or you also, everything that you feel. Is very, very important. And in this, different angles are a must. Like, every time you cannot be like straightforward, like 1 + 1 is 2, and then this and that. You can try out different angles, you can try out different perspectives to narrate the story that you're telling. So this was from one of the events. Like they have this, they do this street plays. We also see street plays that are happening. So if you see, I'm just quickly going to go through the photo story and then explain. So here it starts, here it goes, here it goes, here it goes, and here it ends. Okay. So when you see this from the beginning, you see the setup of how there's basically a mic system in a suitcase. Then you see the kids who are about to perform, they're waiting for their turn, and but they're still taking care of each other. They are uh, into that zone, but you can still see a lot of things that is happening. Then the performances. It's really hard the way they perform and do all the balancing acts. but they're still like, you see that smile, subtle smile on their face. So they're still managing to be happy in whatever they have. Then the balance, again, here you see that it's a small girl's feet, and here there's a elderly man sitting. So it kind of shows juxtaposition of two different characters in one frame. Same goes here, like trying to balance, and then this kids here back are just chilling. So focus, यहाँ पे focus आगे है. This isn't defocus, but it is still giving you narration. Here the main character is out of focus, but they are in focus. It is still giving you the same narration. So as I said, that angles do matter of where things are coming from and how are you telling and talking about it. Then there will be people who want to take pictures, who want to, capture that moment. So capturing those people in different ways is also important. And this one frame is the ending frame for me because you see all the audience. Like whom, if you see here, you don't see much people. कि किसके लिए perform कर रहे. If you see this, the stairs are almost empty. But if you go to this one, they have attracted all the audience and they have got all the audience. So there is a performer, and then you can see the audience, different expressions. Somebody taking pictures, somebody just looking, somebody is like, okay, fine, ये रोज का है. I don't want to say anything. So storytelling is about starting from one element, telling your story in different ways, and ending it on a note where you see the entire picture. It's basically like going to a movie. If you go to a movie and if it doesn't end, it's abruptly ended, you won't like it. Or it just randomly starts from somewhere. It is not what we want. So, photo story or storytelling in visual form, be it photography, be it cinematography, be it anything, it has to start from one point and it has to go. If I suddenly start talking right now about random things, maybe the movie I watched last night, you'll be like, "Hey, we are not here to hear about your movie story. Talk about what we are here to listen about, the webinar." So, this is one part that you have to go and be very thorough about what you are trying to tell, and so that it resonates and reaches to people. As I said, like suddenly I start blabbering or talking gibberish right now. Even if I'm making a point in my head, it is right. But if you don't understand, if it is not reaching you, then you'll be like, you'll be bored. You'll be like, or maybe 2 minutes it will be fun. After that, it will be like, what is happening? We did not sign up for this. And you might just leave. So whatever I'm trying to tell should reach you in the same way. Whatever I'm trying to tell through my photographs, through my visuals, also has to reach you. And that is a very strongest form of communication, is what I feel personally. Now here are some of the fashion portraits, conceptual and things. So whenever, even if we are shooting fashion, normally it's about clothes. It's about showing the fabric, showing the model or things like that. But in that also you have to take care of what the lighting is. What is your background? Where are you shooting it? Can you, add different pattern or the curves to the sari or the fabric that you're using? Expressions, body language, everything plays a different part. So it's like a same thing can be shown in different ways when it comes to fashion or portrait photography as well. And again, as we say, a story is very, very important. A story, the angles are very, very important when it comes to. So you can play around, like here you can see it's a wide angle shot. Here you can see she's standing straight, but on the same part, same setting, she's standing in a curve. So it just gives a different look to every photograph. The another most important part about being a good storyteller is getting identification. Getting identification means that you have to be very strong enough to talk or identify about the narration that you're giving. Okay, what are you talking about? What is the identity of that topic? Where is it coming from? How does it inspire you? So this, I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but these are the Frida Kahlo inspired fashion shoot that we had done. Frida Kahlo was a surreal painter who used to do a lot of self-portraits. And we did this photo shoot inspired by Frida Kahlo. So if I want to shoot Frida Kahlo, I need to know her identity. I need to know who she was. Where is she coming from? What are the relevances and references of her life? And I also need to know the identity that I understand or I identify as when I speak about this artist. So get the identification whenever you're doing any kind of visual story. It's very, very important. It is very, very vital part of photo story, because if I just say that, okay, I'm Tanvi Bhadre, I can just go to walk into some office, or maybe I just go to a bank and I say that I'm Tanvi Bhadre, I need my account to be open. They'll not just give it to me straight away. They'll be like, where is your photograph? Where is your Aadhaar card? Where is your identification details and everything? They'll ask me for everything. So in the same way, whatever you're putting into a visual form, whatever you're putting into a photograph, in your artwork, in your design, everything needs an identity. It should either be about you. You should be aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it. So this is important part of being a good visual artist or being a good photographer. Second is go beyond cliche. Like, don't be stuck into cliche like straight away portraits, like facing same. Add elements, add foregrounds, use your lights, use your shadows. Narrate of something that is beyond cliche. What is cliche? That you see some stereotype. You go beyond that. Try to play around with your visuals. Try to play around with your concepts, your ideas, the story that you're telling. Like, जैसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं मिर्च मसाला. So add a little bit of that to your pictures or your visuals that you create. So as a storyteller, you always have to go beyond cliche. You have to do something different that normally जैसे आप क्लिक करते हो या normally जैसे आप illustrate करोगे या normally if you're telling a story also, it has to be beyond the stereotypes. It has to evolve. It has to be more than the life. Unusual angles. We know that there are certain fixed angles, like it has to be straight, it has to be this way, it has to be posed this way. Maybe you can try a little bit different, breaking all the rules. But if in order to break all the rules, first thing you have to do is you have to understand all the rules. Like you have to literally go through and through with the process. Then only you can break the rules. Here are also some different angles. There's a foreground. You can add as a ruler, like add the foreground, add the background, add different elements. Just play around with what all things you have. And the last one about being a storyteller as a photographer or being a photographer takes guts. I normally tell my students, like, it takes guts to go and stand in the middle of room full of people who are not artists to tell them that you are an artist. Same thing goes with photography. Like when I say that I'm a photographer, normally people come up with like, oh, you are that wedding photographer, and they have this different stereotype notion, which I can't help. But photography is also about this. Photography is also about having guts and experimenting. So this was a shoot I did in a collaboration with a photography friend of mine. He's a automobile photographer. So we decided to match machines with the bike parts, and this is what we came from. So experimentation is very, very important. Normally we get scared like something will go wrong. Let it go wrong. You will not learn if anything doesn't go wrong. So the graph of your growth has to be going up and down in a wave so that you know that you're making progress. That means that you're going ahead. So have guts to experiment, have guts to, you know, do what you feel like, changing the narratives or whatever. This is the very important part that you must understand and you must follow. This was another favorite quote of mine by Don McCallum, who's a British photographer, photojournalist. He says that photography for me is not looking, it's feeling. If you can't feel what you are looking at, then you are never going to get others to feel anything that they look at your picture. So whatever you feel, as I just said, that you have to narrate whatever you see the way it is. Same way, you also have to narrate. If I'm sad and somebody asks me, like, Tami, why are you sad? And I try to tell them my sad story laughing. I'm smiling broadly and I'm laughing and I'm telling, they'll be like, what's going on with you? Or if I'm very happy, but somebody comes and is like, Tami, you look very happy. Let's celebrate. And then I start crying. So my face or my feel doesn't match my words or what I'm trying to say. So these are the two elements which can, take you or break you into different things. So when you are doing visual representation of anything, it always has to, like, if I feel sad about looking at something and I want to take a picture of it, so it has to come from my subconscious that the picture, maybe that photograph will make somebody else also sad. If I feel happy, I have to capture that feeling, because that feeling is very, very important. So photography for me is not looking, it's feeling. It's not about how a photo looks. It's not about how your visual looks. It's not about how your design looks. It's about what it makes you feel. And if that feeling is passed on, from if I'm feeling sad and I take a sad picture and you feel sad too, that means the communication is done. That means whatever I'm trying to tell has reached you. If I'm taking a happy picture and you feel super happy about that, then it has impacted you, and whatever I'm trying to say through my visuals, the story that I'm trying to tell has reached you perfectly. After that, the most important part, like, I hated history when I was in school, like, I'll admit it. But after growing up, after understanding, there is lot of uh, references, understanding, teaching, education, uh, way of life that comes from the history that we are blessed with. Like, for a fact, these are the images from Hampi Badami temples. So this image of Nataraja kind of makes 109 poses of Bharatnatyam dancer, and this was done before we could even think of geometry, or we could even understand what the sculpture or the mural kind of was. So our forefathers or our history is very enriched, and everything has a very deeper meaning and very deeper understanding. And I think that has given me the very different kind of passion for my art. It has made me understand the things that normally we don't speak about or we don't address. So learn your history, be it Indian, be it Western. Lot of things will come to you, you will understand, and that will impact the way you see the world, not just creating art. This is not for everyone who wants to create art. Sometimes you just have to see, and appreciate. So for that also, learn your history. It's very, very important. Whatever comes to your way, please, just gulp it down in your mind, in your memory. The next and the most important part, practice. Be it photography, be it illustration, be it graphic design, be it drawing, be it sketching, be it doodling, be it anything. Practice, like, literally pick anything that is in front of you, keep it in front of you, and practice. Take pictures, make illustrations, do different kind of doodles, do everything and anything that is possible. But that is very, very important. Practice, and practice in a good way, not just like, if you're practicing wrong, then you will learn wrong, then you will never grow. You have to practice perfectly, like, not perfectly, at least in a right way. So that is important. Like, if you want to narrate any story, if you want to be a good storyteller, and if you want visuals to narrate the story, practice is the only way. Again, as I said, pick up anything, like literally anything. These were like random red chilies. These were the flowers I just got for my friend. These are some random props. Anything that you have, just put it, click it, try to tell something out of it, or just make sure that you practice every day. And last but not the least, don't forget to express yourself. No matter what, your visuals are everything about you. They narrate your story, they narrate things that you have seen, you have experienced, you have felt, and you want to tell people. So, expressing yourself very freely, we generally don't do that. Like, photographs can say things, or visuals can say things that words can't. So, make sure that you never forget to express yourself. If you think you cannot say something, draw it out, illustrate it out, take a picture of it, do anything, but never forget to express yourself the way you. Photography is an aesthetic fusion of art and science. Like, when you take cameras, lights, all of that is science. It's pure science. It's literal physics, like law of light and refraction. But when you talk about images like this one, it's about art. So photography is an aesthetic fusion. Aesthetic sounds very heavy word, but it just means something that looks good to your eye. So photography is the aesthetic fusion of art and science. And in the same way, I believe that even we have this combination of art and design, and we have bachelors of fine arts, that is applied arts, and masters of fine arts and applied arts, with emphasis on research. And I have done both these degrees. Like I'm a BFA with my specialization as photography, and MFA applied arts with specialization in photography, and I've done a little bit of research part of it also. So at MIT School of Visual Arts, we provide both the programs along with the photography as a specialization. So this is just a side away of everything that we have seen so far. And these are some of my artworks. Like apart from photography, I do artworks also. And again, if you see, it's kind of influenced one thing to another. So photography is not just one thing. As I said, express yourself. So painting, sketching, doodling, just like random lines is also my way of expression. So this is also visual. It tells, if it narrates any story to you, maybe
अगं मी
it can.
विसरले होते. तन्वीचं लेक्चर होतं. तिने
Hello?
मला सांगितलं होतं बघ.
Okay, sorry, somebody was on. It's okay. So, coming to the end of photography, click to narrate what words can't say. Like we have so many things in our head, in our life, everyday things that we do that sometimes we cannot say what we feel, but maybe you can just click and narrate, or you can uh, make some visuals and narrate. I think this can be your takeaway from today's lecture, that click to narrate what words can't say. And that is all from me. If anybody has any questions or anything to share, please, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just unmute and ask me about it. And thank you so much. And I would like to hand it back to Pallavi ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We all know that today everyone is carrying a camera in their mobile phones, and everyone is trying to take beautiful pictures, but not all pictures, as ma'am said, that have a story behind it. And that is so much visible from her presentation and the work she has done. And she has so beautifully explained to us that how each picture is not just a visual, it is a story after all. So thank you very much, ma'am. And the School of Visual Arts is blessed to have her as a faculty. And if you want to know more about what courses we conduct here, what programs we have, please do connect with us. And I've shared some links in the chat box as well. So yes, and thank you so much. And with this, I would like to request Shruti ma'am if she would like to say something.
Yes, thank you, Pallavi ma'am. I'm sure people are inspired looking at Tanvi ma'am's work. Um, if you're watching her on Facebook and if you have any questions, you can put the questions there. She will respond to them whenever she gets those questions. You can go to MIT World Peace University School of Fine Arts Facebook page, and you will find this session going live. If you're attending on Zoom right now, you can again revisit the same session. If you have missed on something, you can just go there and take the learnings from there. So that's what I will say. And I will also like to thank a few people, our very inspiring Executive President, Sir, Shri Rahul B. Karar, Sir, for making this Kothur campus a very active and very, I'll say, full of life campus where we get encouraged to do these kind of activities. I will like to extend my gratitude to our Director Guru Prasad Rao sir, and also to all the faculties who are supporting this session. I'll also like to thank Tanvi ma'am for this amazing session. If you're watching, if you have questions here, you can ask her now also, or put them on the Facebook and she will answer them. So thank you once again, everybody, for attending, and over to you, Meghna, for closing.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
ma'am.
much.
I'm sure attendees are going to benefit from this a lot. So thank you, Tanvi ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session on Facebook or on YouTube Watch Later. As we come to the end of this session, we would like to conclude with the Pasayadan, which is a tradition at MIT WP.
आता विश्वात्मके देवे येने वाग्यज्ञे तोषावे तोषोनि मदद्यावे पसायदान जे खळांची व्यंकटी सांडो तया सत्कर्मी रतिवाढ भूता परस्परे पडो मैत्र जीवांचे दुरिताचे तिमिरदा विश्वस्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो जो देवांशील तो तेलाहो प्राणिजात वर्षत सकळ मंगळी ईश्वर निष्ठांची मांदियाळी अनवरत भूमंडळी भेट तू भूता चला कल्पतरूंचे आरव चेतना चिंतामणीचे गाव बोलते जे अर्णव पियुषाचे चंद्रमे जे अनांतन मार्तंड देता बहीण ते सर्वाही सदा सज्जन सोय रे हो तू किंबहुना सर्व सुखी पूर्ण होनी सिही लोकी भजिजो आदि पुरुषी अखंडित आणि ग्रंथोपजीविये विशेषी लोकीये दृष्टादृष्ट विजये हो आवे जी येथ म्हणे श्री विश्वेश्वराव हा होईल दान पसाव येणे वरे ज्ञान देवो सुखिया
With this, I would like to conclude session 4 of SOVA Talks. Please stay tuned for the next session on next Friday. Thank you so much.